Brandon Sinclair, a single father of 3 who drives a wrecker in San Antonio, is one of the many Texans going hungry as he fights an ongoing battle with the Texas food stamp program.
There was one point I would eat like once every 3 days just so my kids would have food. Yeah, but I do it without thinking.
It's been one hassle after another for the last 3 years for Sinclair as he applied and reapplied for food stamps.
That's an issue, of course, at the state we'd recognized. For us, that represents families who aren't getting their food assistance on time. That's a huge problem, and we've taken a number of steps to try to turn that around.
The Texas Supplemental Nutrition Assistance Program, known as SNAP, remains under intense scrutiny after a federal lawsuit in August 2009 over allegations that benefits were flowing too slowly. The Texas Health and Human Services Commission that oversees the food stamp program also is dealing with the Texas lawsuit over its slowness. And in June, the federal government fined the state for inaccurately calculating benefits. But the state is appealing the federal fine and the lawsuit, and officials say the agency has made massive improvements in the last several months. In November 2009, SNAP had a backlog of 73,460, but has improved its number dramatically to 13,582 this June. But advocates for the poor say the state is painting an inaccurate picture of the food stamp situation, and that too many Texans, like Brandon Sinclair, are having too much trouble finding their next meal.
They can do various things to make it look like they're making more decisions timely. An example might be, and we've had told to us, someone may have applied 6 months ago. The agency calls them up and says, well, we figured out what the problem is with your application, but if you will go ahead and submit a new one today, we'll make sure it's approved today, and then you'll get your benefits. Well, what that does is it looks like they made the decision timely when somebody says, okay, go ahead and make my application effective today.
So it's just been this last couple of months of just really grinded through it. My parents are actually going broke trying to help us out. And there's nothing I could do. I mean, if I had somewhere else I could, pack up and take us to keep them from going in the hole, that's what I'd do, but I just don't have anywhere else to go.
No one called him back. No one let him know whether he qualified for benefits. It took months at a time to process his applications. Finally, he turned to the Texas Rio Grande Legal Aid, which is still helping him with his case.
Last month I didn't make what I should be making. I made probably about $800 in the entire month. I pay about $400 a month in rent for 2 rooms here. I've got a $100 truck payment, $130 for my storage, and about $150 for cell phone bill because I pay for 2 phones. And then trying to help provide food, having 3 kids living with me, so it's rough.
Texas Rio Grande Legal Aid, Lone Star Legal Aid, and Legal Aid of Northwest Texas are representing more than 50 low-income Texans and 5 nonprofit organizations in a lawsuit against the state. They argue that the Texas food stamp system violates numerous state laws that are keeping hungry families from receiving assistance.
The agency, whether by design or by default, they have created an environment to discourage people from obtaining or even trying to get assistance.
Applications usually take longer than the 30-day federal time limit, Doggett says. His clients don't get notified about denial, approval, delay, or the amount of benefits they qualify for, and they've had ongoing frustration with phone calls that don't get answered or returned.
I'm just waiting and calling different numbers they're giving me. I'm here at the main office making sure that I can get, them to help me, but they haven't been able to help me at all.
I think we've made such dramatic progress in the last year that I don't think that statement is true today. Last November we were only processing, less than 60% of the cases on time. Today it's more than 90% of the cases are processed on time.
Despite the agency's efforts to improve the system, frustrated applicants like Sinclair say they still struggle.
That a couple of extra meals a day that I don't eat, I'm thankful for because, my kids can have that. So, because I'd go without food for days on end. I've done it before.
Sarah Costa for the Texas Tribune.